who is this Kristen Shima person?
Right.
So I did kind of hear that from the community when I was running. Who is this? Who is this girl?
Who are you?
Who am I? And where did she come from?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Airdrie Inside. I am your host, Chris Glass, aka the dentist. I am here with Kristen Shima, new councillor here in Airdrie, who compared coming on the show to being at the dentist. You'll have to explain that for me in a little bit. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, the dentist.
Okay, so full disclosure, I've known you before we were both counselors. We have a friendship that goes back to our days working on Airdrie Fest and Cabin Fever and Homecoming and a bunch of other great initiatives that you spearheaded for the city back in the day. And we both sit on the Airdrie Culture Fest board.
We do. Yes.
So what I'd like people to do is get to know Kristen a little bit. So Kristen, what brought you to Airdrie? What made Airdrie home for you, and what happened before Airdrie?
Okay, so what brought me to Airdrie was it was a good location to land between Calgary and Red Deer.
Right.
So my husband got transferred to Red Deer for a position, and his family was near Calgary. In Calgary. So we thought Airdrie was really a good place to grow roots in,
right.
With starting a new family and just moving forward. It was a community about just under 30,000 at that time,
right.
when we arrived, and just had that wholesome feel to it. Previously to that, I was in Calgary, Lethbridge, and then I was born and raised on a farm near Edmonton. So just a small town girl for sure. Yeah.
So that's why we're at home here at Micro Acres, where you're seeing all this growing around
I love
us.
This.
Yeah.
The smell of the earth just really centers me right now.
Okay. So you move to Airdrie and you start putting roots down. What's your vocation? What do you like to do for a living? Because it really ties into your current role as a counselor. So give me a little bit about your background.
Well, my background, I actually had a business here for 14 years in Airdrie as a within the creative industry. So I was a photographer and had a design studio with a couple other photographers,
right.
Later as I grew the business. And I was wanting to transition more into working with community. I always had the heart of working with community forever. And it was because it came from my roots of always giving back to community when I was small.
Yeah.
So knowing that was my middle to end game, I transitioned into just going and understanding about communities and how they work, how they build, how societies function. So within that, being a creative, I actually wanted to learn more about how downtowns work.
Right.
And it spun into how downtowns are really centered around creativity and innovation and learning more about culture. So I went into that world a little bit when it came to retraining. And then it ran into, I want to learn more about this, which folded into economic development. So I trained into that. And then it folded nicely into tourism, and worked with municipalities after I left my business, because it gave me the foundation of that learning, and then working in municipalities. So I've worked within a few municipalities on that. And then I bumped along into training even more into community development work. So my journey, I actually finished and with municipalities and transitioned into working with a business improvement area in Calgary. And so in that area, I actually support over 220 businesses with downtown revitalization and also building out more of that resiliency and sense of belonging in a neighborhood.
You know, it's when you hit when you start talking about the community development side, that's where we really got to know each other, because I was on the other side of the coin. I was one of those people in the community who just wanted to be a part of something and wanted to kind of promote our community and promote things we care about.
Mm-hmm.
And you were on the other end to partner with that. So talk to me a little bit about that collaboration between having a role as a community developer and people that are embedded in the community, and how that relationship works.
Oh, it's one of the strongest relationships and the highest honor, actually, you could work in municipal government with.
Yeah.
So being on the ground with community, it really centers and humbles you just as a service worker.
Right.
Bridging that gap between municipal and residents and community, just doing the work on the ground. It's really weaving that fabric between each other and meeting each other in the middle. And that's where that rich work and dialogue really, really happens, and bringing out those solutions. Community, it sits with community, the solutions and that meaningful work, and actual empowering change sits with community. And so holding on to that position in municipal roles as long as I have, it really provided that opportunity and empowerment working with you and with other community members as well.
And we have had some fun with the Airdrie Fest and the Homecoming Festivals. One of the coolest parts was that Homecoming Festival was a one-time event. And we were able to turn it into a reoccurring event, and now it's an annual event. So it's neat to see how things kind of snowball into greater than you thought they would ever going to be. So
it's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah, and that's really the foundation of community development work. It's to have sustainability and regeneration long term.
So talk to me about sustainability, because I know this is one of your superpowers as a councillor, and one of the things that you talk about quite a bit. How important is sustainability when engaging a community? Because once you stop focusing on something and go away, that still has to be there. That root still has to go. So talk to me about sustainability and why it's important, and what it means to you. Sorry, we should probably start there.
Yeah, well, sustainability is one piece of it. It's the regeneration of it that's really the fulsome piece of everything.
Right.
It's circular. So what it means to me, it's it's planting the seeds.
Yeah.
And it's working behind the scenes to instill those roots to grow further out. And as community leaders in that realm, we really try to work sustainability through that lens. We are not the people to be out there, be the face all the time. We're not. That's not our place to be. We are the people for sustainable roots, to have frameworks, to have systems, processes, guidelines, policies, which I love. So those methods and practices to instill in community. And that's something that community doesn't have the tools to understand or lean into. And that's where community development is super powerful to build. And as we further talk about sustainability, it's a piece that we are trying to educate and train community in. And I know with yourself, Chris, watching me work, watching us work, you are learning these things, right? And that's empowering you, and then you take it and move it on to others. So it's really a gift that you're really developing within your community.
Well, and I think of some of my engagement with the city prior to my role as a councillor, and prior to my role as even a community activist, if you will. When we were talking about the football field and trying to get the turf project underway, meeting with Kim Harris was so important, because I'm an educated guy, but I don't know what I need from permitting or fundraising or feasibility studies or anything like that. And I was partnered with Kim, and Kim Harris walked me through step by step how to build a sustainable community program. And that's impossible. I didn't have that skill set as just a concerned citizen before. So that role is so important to kind of get the synergy going and to really unlock the potential of somebody who just wants to get something done, but doesn't know how to navigate the system. You know what I mean?
Yes, agreed. I could speak volumes about building capacity with community because it's your largest asset within any city, town. It's your largest asset. It's the people power. And I speak highly around that.
Right. And I've seen you do this many times, very successfully here in our city, leveraging groups of volunteers in order to accomplish something that the city could never budget for. Right. If you wanted to do an event that needed 100 people and you were going to pay them a favor, that whatever that's worth in salary, you just wouldn't be able to run the event.
No.
So talk to me about how a good developer can really unlock that potential. Like what are some of the key skills that you're looking for?
So it depends on who you're working with. You really have to navigate and understand where each group is coming from, understand their skills. So it's always relating it to their assets and how community developers, we speak about gifts and talents and strengths with people. So it's just understanding who suits what and leaning into those as much as possible. And when I do more of that analysis with community groups, it's just understanding who's the strongest and where. And then also really giving them the reins to lead. So it's taking a step back, always taking a step back. And watching and also navigating and helping them with encouragement to grow. So we could be, as community developers, walking with them along the path and taking a step back and allowing them to fall, because it's important to make those mistakes.
Yeah, of course.
But just really working with them and letting them shine in who they are, but holding them from behind. Always. And when it comes to their ideas or their visions, you really want to embrace those, because that's really what they're trying to build. And you want them to succeed. When we're talking about buy-in, no one's really going to buy in my ideas. It's really about understanding the project and pulling out their ideas and then visioning, boarding with them on getting them excited and passionate behind it. So that's really allowing people, residents, and community to lead.
You know, there's a concept in Lean, which is something I subscribe to, Lean Six Sigma training, that kind of thing. Yes. My background as an operational performance analyst and Lean associate come into play. But there's a concept using the Japanese word Gemba, which is where the work is done. So, you know, a lot of times you're flipping through a policy book and you're like, okay, this is what they're doing at the workplace. This is what they're doing at the ground level. And this is a good policy. Why aren't we getting the output that we're expecting? And then you go to where the work's being done and they're like, yeah, we don't do that. Like, that's not the way we do things. And so you have to throw that out completely, because the people who are actually there on the ground are telling you, yeah, it's not our experience. It's not what we see. Do you see that a lot, where, you know, you might see an academic study saying this is one thing, and then when you actually get to the ground floor, it's completely different?
I see a blend, actually. You have to have more of those theories working with, because it creates those frameworks. But when it comes to those frameworks, you absolutely have to have more of the, you're navigating constantly.
The flexibility,
Flexibility, adaptability is really important. So with working with community developers, just in general, they provide just that mix and balance between the two. But it really is the residents behind it. And it does... generally they're the ones with the innovation, and they break a lot of those rules, which they should be broken. So when as social scientists come to the table, we pull out those theories and lenses and look at, how do we look at this question, or how do we understand what this is going on in the community, and looking at solving this problem. Actually, it's the community you should bring along in that, and hold more of those opportunities for creating those solutions with those problems.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I really like that. I want to take it from the abstract and talk about a real life case scenario, because you sit on the Airdrie Culture Fest board. Full disclosure, so do I, and so does my wife.
Yes.
But you were one of the original community developers involved in that. So tell me what steps you took to get the team on the same page and to grow Airdrie Culture Fest into what it is today.
What was
the early days?
Yeah, the early days.
Yeah.
It's actually taken from a lot of the frameworks that I relied on with my background. So typically what I do with cultural planning is I look as an assessment with the community and see what kind of gaps and needs there are. So I do really a cultural mapping assessment in the community. And then I fold it into more that event development. And seeing, okay, how can we develop an event? What does this look like? Where are the needs here? And then I fold it into community development practices with the methodologies. And I know that this sounds a little bit more of the academic pieces.
Right. We do call you the professor.
But it does roll into the why and how to get there.
Right.
So when I look through this, I'm already building out the frameworks for how I can build out the sustainability in an event or a piece of work.
Right.
So what I do in that is I really do my outreach with community engagement. So how that came along is there was this need for the community speaking and many community groups speaking about, well, I think there should be something done with all of us coming together and just celebrating our cultures. That came out loud and clear. Yeah. Even the former mayor was just really advocating for something like that to happen. Yeah. So over the course of a year with processing the information on how to build, I did my outreach with many community groups. So I did a huge cast of a net to see what was out there and pulled numerous groups together with different cultures, backgrounds, volunteers, service groups, lots of agencies, and pulled them together, sat them in a room. And that's the best way to do it, is just have a first partner meeting, explaining what this project is there appetite for this, who is interested in this, not formulating anything, but actually having a conversation, just dialogue around, hey, do you guys think this is a really good idea? This came up. Did you want to talk more about it? Where do you see yourself in this? So it's just positioning it in a way. But the key is there has to be, in order to get these projects off the ground, is facilitation, coordination, a common ground. So it really is that middle ground that really was important. So that was the key. And then mobilizing these pieces together, it's definitely a process. Yeah. So it's navigating on everyone's needs and how they see themselves, what they could provide with their strengths, leaning into those pieces. So actually moving forward over the weeks, we established regular meetings. We established how they see themselves in this. We established values and goals and a mission statement. But rightfully so, that was done by an amazing leader that we really wanted to have, not as a city when I was working with the city of Airdrie, but to have from the community. And so we had a very round table of who could fill in those shoes to be a leader for this group. And fortunately, we had someone, which was Kim Glass, that stepped up and raised her hand to do that. Because it's about empowering people. Right. And yes, she was new to this platform, but that's the more reason to do it. So I worked with her alongside, giving her the tools and navigating those complexities of building an event from the ground up and working with community groups. And now she's a superstar.
Right.
So, and
I like to think so.
Yeah, she is. And now she's passing it on to others. And it's also working with other teammates to create those subcommittees as well to strengthen the groups and volunteerism moving forward. So we've cast a net about 30. We had 30 volunteers with the subcommittee. We had 12 cultural groups as part of this.
Yeah.
So the first year was actually phenomenal. And then it's just started growing.
Right. And I remember the first year we were hoping for maybe 2,000 people to turn out. That would have been a big success. When we got 5,000, that kind of blew everybody's mind.
Yes.
And then the next year, sitting at 10,000, it's sitting at a very big success. Where do you see Culture Fest going in the next couple of years?
Well, it certainly fits the need, right? And I think that's why it's growing and attaching to community so well. I do see it really expanding and taking more limbs, more legs, with creating more of the mentoring relationships with other groups and agencies. It's working with even a wider regional collaboration that I see for Airdrie, more even on a tourism space as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very impactful for Airdrie long-term with sustainability and just connecting with more people and groups.
Yeah, absolutely. How can people get involved? Right? Because there's going to be people hearing this going, I didn't know this existed, and I didn't know there was a group working on this. So how can people get in touch? Is it sponsorship? Is it volunteerism? What are we looking for support?
With volunteers, I would say it's you could go to the website. The information's all there. If you want to connect with volunteers, we do have a volunteer subcommittee team that is ready to take and train and work with volunteers head on. So there's that. With sponsorships as well, we do have that directed to the webpage. Definitely would love just the community to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And work with us in sharing inclusion, equity as well, and showcasing cultures all around. But I really, really stress volunteerism with all of the youth, seniors, just with everybody coming and raising hands together, because it does take a village, and empowering each other to do that. That's where you get skills. It's so important to volunteer. And with any event, with any event we have in Airdrie, I can't speak to you that highly enough.
So, okay, moving on to another topic. Earlier on this year, in 2025, probably just at the summer, maybe, I got a text message that shocked me in a very pleasant way. I had announced that I was a candidate for running for city council, and I had all of the people who were running against me kind of figured out, and everybody who is running for council. And then I get a message from you saying, hey, I'm running for city council too. I'm excited. I hope that we get to work together. What made you throw your hat in the political arena? What made you want to sign up to be a city councillor?
Okay. So I've always wanted to be a city councillor for, I'd say, the last 20 years.
Okay.
I've wanted to be a city councillor. What made me think to do it now? Let's take you on a quick little journey. So, when I was doing my business, I thought, it's not a good time to run for the council. I just have way too much going on. I have a young family, but kept it in the back of my mind because I always wanted to contribute back.
Yeah.
And just me as a person, my values really run deep to always give back. So I thought, after my career in my business, I thought, yes, I'll transition to training and learning and growing as a person.
Right.
So I took a lot of training within the last 10 years to do that. And when I was sitting with the decision on running for council, having that opportunity, it really made me it felt really good that I was going to give back in a wholesome way.
Yeah, you were in a really good
In a
position.
really good place
Yeah.
to do that in. I had strong background. I had a strong variety of experiences. I felt if now is the time, I'm going to do it. I felt ready. So that's when I honestly was going back and forth. It was actually more of confidence in that time for me. Because I thought, I don't think people really know me as much as they knew me when I was running my business. And that was over 10 years ago. It was more of, I don't know how people are going to feel around me. Who is this Kristen Shima person?
Right.
So I did kind of hear that from the community when I was running. Who is this? Who is this girl?
Who are you?
who am I? Where did she come from? But that gave me an indication that I was definitely well hidden doing the work. So that was really positive. But in the same breath, I had to really reinvent myself and put myself out there. So the decision really came from confidence and just knowing who I was, grounded in what I could bring to community, and really provide that strong background that I could do the work and serve. Yeah.
So then tell me how the campaign was. I know it from my lens, but there's not many people who've experienced what we've experienced, and not many people experience it from your eyes. In fact, only one person does. So what was it like to run? What was the campaign like?
Oh, God. It was. The campaign itself was probably the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
I don't think anything could touch it.
Really?
Actually.
Good.
When I set out to run, I've already established in my mind, win or lose, this is going to be something that will be pivotal in my lifetime. And it was. So running, you have to put yourself out there. And when I thought, should I put my face on my campaigns, like my signs, my election signs, I thought that was a bold move. But I thought, it's important to see the face, to know who this person was. So I did it. And to see the next day all my signs out there with my face, that is, if that doesn't hit someone like hard right here in the heart and in the confidence level, I don't know what would.
Right.
So that in itself was a growing moment. But once you step over that, everything felt really good.
Yeah.
And just, I just felt really in a good place. And welcoming the questions because I knew strong answers, talking to a lot of the residents. It was I felt like I was in a groove and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I felt just at the very end, Chris, and I don't know, you probably have a question for this and I'll probably hold off for a little bit. I just can't say as much as my heart and soul, that was probably the best experience I could ever have.
Now, fast forward, you win. And you win with a pretty strong mandate. Airdrie really showed up to vote for you. You had a very strong vote total. Now that you're in this position, in the end of February, we're going to go through our planning as a council and we're going to kind of figure out what our strategic priorities are for the next 4 years. But I want you to fast forward with me to 2029. If we're successful as a council and if Kristen Shima as a councillor is successful, what will you accomplish by then? What does success look like here?
I think success for me is it's really knowing that the community is heard.
Yeah.
And for me, it is just being really reflective and thoughtful with the decisions we're making around the table.
Right.
On navigating some of those challenges, but being really intentional with them. I would say at the end of the term, if I could execute we can't execute on everything.
Of course.
And it's long, it's sustainable, right? It's always a long game. And there's going to be some of those low hanging fruits as well. But if anything, it really is about connecting and empowering community at the end of the day, because that's where change really sits. And if I could get people excited about participating, engaging, learning more about their community, contributing to Airdrie, the city, and its wonderful growth in a meaningful way, and being a part of that, that would be the most powerful thing I could ever contribute back. Yes, there's policy. Yes, there's frameworks and projects and infrastructure and all the things. But really, it's giving a voice back and shaping Airdrie with everybody.
Excellent.
At the end of the day.
I've got one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're a position as a councillor, I know you've worked with a lot of youth in your life. I know a lot of youth in the city have been exposed to you during the campaign, and now you're a role model, and now they're looking up to you. What advice do you have for a young man or woman who is looking to get into politics, who might have that confidence conversation inside themselves? What advice do you have to them?
Be afraid to make mistakes. Sorry, can I reverse that?
Yes, you can.
Don't be
afraid
to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
Right.
And I think have a net around you with support.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Know who your people are. And know who those cheerleaders are to just have your back.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Kristen, I know the city is going to be grateful to have you serve the next 4 years. I'm proud to call you a friend, and thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for being my friend as well.
Excellent. And thank you for joining us on Airdrie Inside. We're going to be back with more great episodes coming up shortly.